do it.
Just some ball pen and a piece of paper.
I like ink pens. And I also use that reed which you dip in the ink and write with.
Look at that.
Old school.
Look at that. We are 21st century.
Yeah.
No, guys, listen, that's very, very key point.
I'm from the very first century.
That means it's
No me es importante el instrumento. Evidentemente no lo hago con una cuchara. Pero me gusta usar tinta de cualquier tipo. No sangre tampoco, no soy muy decimonónica, porque a veces uno tiene ganas, ¿no?, de usar la sangre. Pero así, vamos.
Bueno, voy a traducir porque si no, what you said was that the instrument is not important because you can write with a spoon as well. Not with blood, of course.
Pero podría ser un son a la manera de
But you don't have a time also then for writing. There's no time.
It's mostly night, like deep into the night. Mostly. Because I tend to write very realistic, boring poems if I write in the day. I think my head gets cluttered, but mostly night.
Bueno, te voy a traducir. Pregunto ¿qué os hace escribir? Y su primera respuesta es insomnio. Y luego dice que no hay método, el tiempo es preferiblemente por la noche y no labora con su poema. ¿Cuál es tu caso?
No sé lo que me hace escribir, la verdad, no lo sé. Ocurre a veces, no tan frecuentemente como me gustaría últimamente, pero sí que trabajo mucho los poemas y el placer para mí es trabajarlos, sopesar cada palabra como si fuera casi una pieza de joyería, y cada vez encuentro más ese placer en el paladeo, ¿no?, del lenguaje en la música, y sí lo trabajo hasta la obsesión, vamos. Sí. This book of poems called Istanbul, as it could be Delhi, is an attempt of imagining or creating a city, ideal city where to live, because these poems, this city is like a refuge, no? Imaginary refuge, no? That's why also the way of the poetic, no? The care that I give to the sound and the images, trying to create. I like your image like a wall, no? Like a wall of stones. This is my poetic here. It comes from the feeling of being uprooted, yes, but not only uprooted as a citizen. Uprooted is a feeling very typical of a poet, to be uprooted in life, no? You know, like this is very. It sounds maybe a bit strong, but I mean, within the limits. No?
Well, what do you have to say regarding that? I mean, she feels.
I agree when she says the predicament of a poet feeling constantly uprooted. In my experience also, the place as such, the physical reality of the place has never really mattered. I feel like an alien in most countries and most places, but at the same time equally a part of it, as if I've always lived there. So that flows into my poetry, not with a direct name or a reference or a time, but just with a feeling. Perhaps I would have seen some characters or met some interesting people, or just seen a different way of life that I've experienced, and then it just flows into a very abstract way into my poetry. Even I don't understand it, but it just flows in very abstractly. I could go to a trip in the mountains and then come back, and I might write 10 poems after that, but the only thing I might have picked up from there would be 2 lines about a firefly and the fact that it lives for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. That's it. But how exactly permeates, I don't have an answer to that. I don't think I'm looking for it.
Pues muy bien, así que todo sale misterioso al final. no sabemos. Yo espero a vuestras preguntas, si tenéis.
See, there are something very interesting between both of you because, no, it's okay. Because in one hand, you tell us that, share with us that you are writing in such, let's say, classical way. When I ask you if you use a laptop or handwriting, you say, no, it's not only that, but I use even, let's say, liquid ink, and there is some kind of, let's say, ritual, no? Some kind of creation, some kind of artistic expression that goes beyond the fact of thinking and expressing just through words what you are living, what you are thinking, what you are feeling. And this is more or less, let's say, something that takes us beyond the times. But curiously, even Marta, with the use of so rich words, so rich image, certainly metaphorically expressed. But I was surprised to notice, not in all poems, of course, but some of them, the reference to ancient mythology, to the Greek mythology. That reference to Medusa, talking about Perseo. It's amazing. Right now, here in this time, 21st century, you writing that way, and Marta thinking and talking to us about the eyes of Medusa. You know how many people here is aware of who Medusa was and why exactly the eyes of Medusa? Sure, we can think in this kind of jellyfish, and what is also Medusa. But how things can be combined in one single moment, in one single place, no matter where you come from, no matter how old are you. Poetry has this capacity, gives to us this chance, this way of teaching.
It lets you travel and cross the borders of time.
But perhaps this has something or a lot to do with the language we use to express ourselves. Listening to your poetry